What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Joe Chapo back in the building. We got Light on the hill. You know what I'm saying? What up, Light? We got
What up? What
another
up? What
special
up?
guest. This is an important one to the channel, man. I feel like this is gonna cross us over into the professional,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
professional
good.
side, the college getters and shit. All right, go and introduce yourself, man.
What's going on, people? My name is Darrell. You know, I know Light from some years ago. So when he asked me to come on, I was like, first of all, this is a Bronx channel. So of course I'm gonna support, like,
That's
but of
right.
course my man Light, like, definitely. So happy to conversate with you guys today.
Appreciate it, baby.
Man. All right, so let's just jump in. So tell us a little bit about where you from and how you grew up, man.
So originally from the Bronx, lived in New York my whole life. I grew up on 149th and Jackson in Morehouses in the projects in the South Bronx. Went to high school in the Bronx. All my schooling went in the Bronx. When then I want to say, like, right after high school, I went away to college. I met Light through football. We played semi-pro together. So before that, like, I went to college to play ball, like, right, and I went upstate in New York. Ended up getting hurt. So it looked like the football thing wasn't going to work out really no more. I didn't really know what to do. So I came back to New York, came back to the Bronx, and my cousin Dollar, he played in a semi-pro team with them. He was like, yo, come play ball with us. And I'm like, man, I came from college. Like, I'm about to do the semi-pro thing. Like, I looked at it a little funny, but it was dope because the team was called the Bronx Raiders. They was like family. You know what I'm saying? It's like a family-oriented team. Like, the team, like, we ain't had too many players. Like, the talent was there, but guys ain't really take it too serious or whatever. So I met my man Light there, and in the middle of that, I was like, yo, football ain't working out. I still wanted to, go back to school, whatever. It was weird, like, growing up, and like my pop said this. I got 5 brothers, and my pop said, yo, you was one of the kids who always had like a foot in the street, but like a foot in the books too. Like, you was always able to do both, right? And it's like, the Bronx, I grew up, typical Bronx kid. Parents working 1,000,000 hours a day, so they ain't really see us. We got into the street life, me and my brothers. Every now and again, dib and dabbed in that. But like, something in me was like, yo, like, take the school thing serious or whatever. So I ended up got my undergrad from York College in Queens. Then I went to Columbia to get my master's. And then later on, I'm like, yo, I'm not done with school. So now I live in Chicago. I'm getting a PhD at the University of Chicago. So
Yo, congrats, yo.
doing it, like, educationally,
Blood,
like, but yeah.
Word up, man. Word up, man.
That's
For real, man.
education is key, man. No matter what
Yeah.
you do, what route you decide to go, man, you gotta get.
But I tell dudes all the time, I was like, and people think I'm not, dudes who grow up in the street, who grow up in like the projects, the slums, whatever you want to call it, because everybody don't got project buildings, who grow up in the hood. Some people got, like, nice little tenant looking buildings, but it's still the hood or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They make the best students, bro. I'm telling you, like, all the guys that I met kind of in this journey who grew, like, I go to school, guys who grew up on the South Side, grew up in the gang life and all that kind of stuff. They make the best students because we bring that real world experience to everything that we do. And a lot of people who I go to school with, they don't know what it's like. They'll come and work in the hood, but they can't relate to people. And it's hard to get people to relate to them or even talk to them, because it's like, yo, you don't know, what it's like to miss a meal. Like, what it's like to gotta watch your back when you leave, like, your building or whatever, and those kind of things, or get into situations just because of where you live, not even because you're affiliated with it, but it's like you guilty by association, whatever. Watching family members going in and out of prison, you know what it's like to have to send money up, like, to your boy or whatever. Make the best ones to do this real world stuff that we try to see on TV, and these people try to paint pictures that they know nothing about, right? So, like, I just had a conversation with one of my guys. Like, I'm like, yo, how can any one of these dudes talk about prison reform? They never been inside or don't know nobody who's been inside. Like, how you know what they need if you don't talk to them, right? So, like, ever since I was in New York, like, I do a lot of programming inside. So I did some stuff with some guys on Rikers out here in Stateville. That's the Max security out here in Joliet. Like, I do a think tank, which is basically like I sit with a bunch of guys who they all got life. Like, none of them are sentenced to life, but they got 100+ years. Like, you get what I'm saying? Because Chicago is just crazy like that. Illinois is just crazy like that with their laws.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no such thing as a death penalty out here. but they'll give you 175 years. Just like in Illinois, there's no parole. Everything they get is flat sentences. So if you got 50, you got to do 50. There's no chance of coming. You know, so that's something, you know, a lot of the guys is fighting for. Like, you know, you can't give us these crazy sentences. Like, we need a chance to prove that, you know, we could be released. So I sit with these guys and I'm like, yo, how many people who try to make laws for them actually come and do this? Right? And that's the crazy part. It's like, yo, man, like, you know, so that's what I'm trying to do. Like, everything I do is related to like criminal justice. Oh, I don't really call it justice because it's not. But all the research, all the policy stuff, all the jobs I ever had was like working with people who've been inside. Like, you know, and that's been like almost my entire life. Work with folks who've been inside in some type of capacity. And it's like, you know, advocating like, yo, like, prison ain't it. Like, you see, like, my background, it says abolish prisons because it's not rehabilitative, right? If you think the answer for anybody is to put them in a cage, then it's like you have no conscience, right? And I was like, to me, all prisons do is punish people who's poor. Like, if you ain't got the money to pay your way out, you're going to do it because we watch it. Look at all the rappers. Look at all the politicians. Look at all the bankers. All these guys getting a year. They getting 10 years on house arrest in $1 million mansion, right? Like, but you got my man Khalif Browder who spent the 3 years on Rikers because he couldn't pay $3,000 bond.
Facts.
Did you have parents had $3,000 growing up to pay a bond?
Yeah,
like,
facts.
And the smallest $3,000 may seem to us as adults because like we got real life bills and we got kids and all that now. Like, yo, I can't remember my mom could just be like, I got $3,000 to put my son out of jail. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I try to spread that, but then I bring a real world experience because like I tell people when they be shocked, like who I consider friends, because you got friends and you got associates. People I consider friends who I grew up with. I know more people who've been inside than I know people who haven't. Right? And I don't say that for like sympathy. I don't need a wow or whatever, but that's like reality where we come from. Right? Like, I wish I could meet somebody from the Bronx who say, yeah, I don't know nobody who's been inside. What? Like, like,
yo,
like, so, you know, but I'm happy to talk with y'all. Y'all love the channel. Like, I can keep doing it. I can see it getting big. Like, no disrespect to other channels, but like, yo, we need to start watching the Vlad TVs and them. Cause I got feelings about those guys and the stuff that they do. It does give a spotlight, but I feel like it does a lot of damage to the people that they bring on, and they're not really trying to highlight things. So like that's why I like this channel because it brings a lot of awareness to the real and not trying to use people's trauma and these stories to like gain your notoriety or whatever. Right? So, yeah, I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate you, man.
Happy to talk about whatever y'all want to know. Like, you know, I'm an open book.
So I think Maine said that you get a degree in psychology, right?
In social work. I'm getting a PhD in social work.
Okay. So what's the end goal? I mean,
Yeah. So the reason, you know, I originally went to do a PhD is because like when you do it, you sort of marry in like a subject that you just want to know everything about. We got so many people who do like, you know, the mass incarceration, the you know, abolish prisons, which I'm big on that movement. I do all of that, but I do it from a juvenile perspective because I'm like, we do a lot for the adults. We think a lot about the adults, but like, yo, if we could stop it from kids, from like the young people, like even the guys I told you that I work with in the think tank, a lot of the policies that they drive have to do with the youth. Sending kids up for 10, 15 plus years. Stop sending kids up, charging them as adults. Like, right? Like if you could keep them, get their home situation right, get them right from the beginning, that's going to trickle up to adults. You know what I'm saying? We do a lot for adults, but it's like, why are we waiting so long? Why are we waiting until they get to the adult side of things or whatever, right? So, you know, I'm a part of the thing, like, you know, in the solitary confinement, period, but like, you know, definitely for youth and things like that. So the reason I want to do this is because I get to control the work that I do, right? I don't have to, like, the jobs I had, I've always took a job where I liked my boss, I liked the work that they was doing, I liked their vision. Otherwise, I would have left. But when you do a PhD, you get to control the work that you do, the people you work with, kind of the narrative that you push and all those kind of things. Because there's a lot of people you'll see with PhDs who try to say things like, think about all the reforms they push. All the reforms they push is for like non-violent offenders, right? So like if you sell drugs, you good. But if you sold drugs and had a gun, now you're a violent offender. Now you can't get out. Like, you know, with the non, even though nobody got hurt, just because you had a gun, you violent now or whatever. So, which is like, who's gonna do something and not like try to protect themselves, but like people don't think like or whatever. So I get to control the fact that I don't want to tell their story. I want them to tell their story. So I do what we call like qualitative work, which is like I'll do what you guys are doing. Like I want to interview people. Tell me your story, or I could use your story to say why we need to end all this that we're doing, right? And so my goal is just to tell as many stories as I can, like, you know, and not sugarcoat it, not water it down, not turn it into something like that is not, like, you know, but putting the people who are most impacted by, like, you know, this epidemic that, you know, what it is. Like everybody talking about corona, like incarcerating black and brown people, this has been forever, right? And I tell people all the time who don't understand why I believe what I believe is, I'm like, we had prisons in the U.S. since the 1800s. Tell me a time that it's ever worked. Like, tell me a time it's ever worked. Like it's
another form of slavery. That's all it is.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's the new form of slavery. Right.
What do you think about private prisons?
That's even worse, right? Because what it is, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why prisons is still around, and I'm gonna tell you why people don't want to let go of them. It's because of the private prisons. It's because of how much money you make because it's a $1 billion industry. If you took the money out of prisons, we would have been got rid of them, because that's all we care about in this country. That's why everybody else do it better. Right, like you look at, like, you know, and I could send y'all some stuff, but if you look at countries like Norway, like Brazil, they got, like, for people who don't know what recidivism is somebody who get locked up, they come home, they get locked up, they keep going back and forth. Other countries got 10% recidivism, 13%, 7%. We got 75% in the U.S.
Because out there they not treating them like animals.
Exactly. Now they still in cages, which I don't.
They got programmed.
It's clean. They get to cook their own food. Like, I watched the documentary, and I'm mad because I talk to people about this documentary, and I always forget the name. But it was basically the warden from Norway. He went to Attica. He came out here and went to Attica, right? He met with a bunch of lifers in Attica and told them, write on the board what you would like to see here that will help you guys here. Everything they wrote on the board, he said, we got all of it. And the thing I like about what they showed in the documentary was the guys that he showed in Norway wasn't the guys who had like pounds of weed, had some coke or whatever. These is guys, murderers. Like, these is the guys who they think are unredeemable, right? People who might have committed sexual assaults or whatever. They cook their own food. They in the pod together, right? They don't eat if they don't cook. They cook their own food. They got knives. They got all the utensils, all the pots and stuff they need to cook. They cook together. They sleep together. They got school. They got like comfortable beds. Like, they got TV. They got all this, because what it is, and what people got to understand is, people who make bad decisions, there could be something. There could be something there. You could have caught them at a bad time. Yo, you know when it just ain't your day, and the slightest thing could just send you to 100, and then next thing you know, you're doing 20 years or whatever, because somebody caught you on a bad day. Or whatever. And they got all this. And this is why when they come out, and then also what a lot of countries have, in Europe, employers aren't allowed to see their criminal record. So there's no discrimination when it comes to job, because if people could come home and get a job, think about who do the best when they come home. People who get a job, who get into school. Yeah, a lot of them, they got what's needed, but then
to block them from progress, to bring them back.
They want you to come back, and they want to get more money. Think about how much it costs to make a phone call. You know what I'm saying? How much it costs to get a stamp, to get some letters and all that, right? And then you putting people together, everybody pissed off, survival of the fittest. you know, people end up getting in the shit. Like, you know, think about like Khalif, right? Khalif Browder came on. He had Jay-Z on his back. He had a bunch of people in the Bronx like backing him up. But he getting beat by COs, by prisoners. He spent 2 out of the 3 years in solitary. So that mentally do something to you. So y'all didn't realize that this kid probably needed like some attention and need to see a therapist. But also, it depends on the therapist. Because I don't know if like everybody who do what I do, they say we all need to be in therapy. So like, you know, I speak to people because there's things that there's things I see, and people that I talk to where they won't see that what they're telling me is weighing on me. But so I get to talk to somebody about it. I'll never take a therapist who don't look like me. You can't.
How can you give me advice on something you really have no idea about?
It don't make
like
sense.
You've never been there, never done it. You didn't overcome.
Yeah, I'll talk to the wall. Like I talk to the wall before I talk to someone.
Facts.
And you don't gotta come from where I come from, but you at least gotta look like me. Like you gotta understand what it's like to be black, Hispanic, like something. Like you know, you gotta come from something that's not kind of like the well-respected, like, you know, where you could walk into any store and nobody want to fuck with you and all this kind of stuff. Like, you know, so it get tricky because then also people feel like because I'm where I'm at, like, yeah, you made it. Like you went the Ivy League. You Chicago right now, like top 3 in the country. Like I can't shed this. I still look like this. Like, I'm 6 foot, like almost 300 pounds. Like I'm a big black nigga. Like they still look at me funny. Like, you get what I'm saying? But I do it on purpose, though, bro. I tell people all the time, I still wear, like, I'll go to school with my chains on, with I never take my earrings off anyway, like, or whatever. I go with my Pele, like, my Timbs, like, I'll be BX as hell because you're going to judge me. But when we in kind of, like, doing, like, what we doing here in this conversation, you can't hold the candle to what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they do. They're going to judge us, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can't do it. Right, like when once this take off, like they gonna be mad that it's somebody who look like y'all doing it.
Facts.
It's not.
Yo, you know it's funny. I was looking at when it said the top YouTubers, right? And it's funny. You need to see nobody of no color, right?
Because y'all doing it natural. Y'all not putting the money to push y'all pages in front. Because you gotta understand, all this stuff is monetized, right? All it's gonna take is for one of y'all interviews to go viral. Once you get that 1 million views, then like now it's gonna push y'all up into that, you know, that realm. But right now, y'all not putting money to push y'all shit in front of everybody, right? And that's what they do. They could push their. It's like if you ever make a Facebook page and they ask you, do you want to boost this, like or whatever? People pay to boost it so that it's just coming across everybody's feed because that's what it's money. It's all money, bro. But y'all page is gonna get there, and what it is, and I think what people gonna love about it is the everyday person that you see doing it. It's not like all right, cool, I'm where I'm at, right? But me and you like got a relationship, so that's why it makes it so easy for me to come up here. But like my man, y'all, I love the one y'all did with my man. I can't remember his name. He was like in the back alley. He had the red shirt on. Like you wasn't knowing this one, but he had the red shirt on. Yo, bro, he remind me of all. Yo, he remind me of all the dudes from the block who used to get in trouble, want to smack us around. Like you think you know? Like you think you know? You don't know like what it is. Like you know, yo. And that's what I appreciate about it. Yeah, the backyard scene.
It just kept going in different directions and shit, like all over the place and shit. That's why if you watch it, like half of the video, I'm just watching this shit, yo.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying shit. He's coming to me like, yo, Joe. What's up, Joe? Yo, I'm just watching. I'm waiting for the eye to come out, yo.
No, he remind me of AJ. He remind me of Coach a little bit, right? Like he remind me of Coach. Like, you know, Coach used to come to the meetings.
I love you, Coach.
With dudes. You know, he or whatever. But AJ give you the real, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
facts.
Stop playing. Like, I played in the street enough to let you know. But that's another thing, right? Like, to me, I learned through all my failures, like, I never change it. Because if I ain't hit them hiccups, right? Like, if I ain't hit them hiccups, I don't know where I'll be. right? And it's those hiccups that a lot of people be mad, like, yo, I remember, like, yo, my ribs is touching, blah, blah, blah. But just imagine, like, how, like, now during the pandemic, you know who not people? Everybody's struggling because, like, you know, I lost a bunch of family members due to the pandemic, right? I had an aunt, uncle pass, my fiance pops pass. Like, I got hit, but you know who know how to survive, who know how to like make that dollar work for them. Those of us who grew up in it, yo, like who grew up without it and understand, who know how to appreciate a dollar. Everybody else who's not used to it, they going crazy, yo.
Facts.
Going crazy.
Yo, out here, they were going crazy. All the shells was done and shit. Like, they were going nuts and shit, yeah. I was like, I couldn't even understand, like, why people was buying all of the tissue,
yo.
The medicine shit is all full. Everything is full. They buying tissue.
Like,
meat is still there.
Right? Like, at least we know how to make it work. Like, we know what it's like. I bet, yo, we can't cook chicken and steak and all. We gonna hit the rice and beans with the hot dogs cut up like that's still a meal. We gonna hook it up, right? Like, we good.
Peanut butter and jelly all day.
Peanut butter and jelly for a while. Ramen. Like, we gonna hit the scoops up. Like,
facts.
That's who not struggling, right? Like, it's like, yeah, it's like, damn, I miss being able to go sit in a restaurant with my girl, whatever. I'm mad because I can't get to New York. Like, you know, my son is in New York. He'll be out here with me in the summer. Like, we doing the swap or whatever, but he in New York. I can't get to my son. Everything is through FaceTime. That's the problem. But money-wise, like, yo, we been know how to stretch a dollar. Like, right? Yeah. And this the stuff I'm thankful for, right? Like, is knowing how to hustle, right? Because a lot of people can't do it, yo. And it's like, yo, I feel bad for you. And even people, I look at people who find out that they man or whatever, somebody was a snake. Like, yo, you learn not to trust and you learn who to trust. Growing up how we grew up.
Fact.
I'm 31. Like, everybody 30 plus. Like, there's no way ain't nobody gonna snake me at this age. Like, what? Like,
yeah, you finally crossed 30? Damn.
Yeah, man. You remember I was a pup when we met.
Yeah,
yo,
you was like 20, 21. Damn.
Yeah, I'm like 22, I think, like, when we met. Because I remember we went to Virginia and only Todd was the only one who couldn't get in the club with us because he wasn't 21. You know, it's just like, you know.
Definitely wise for your age, man.
Yeah, man. Like, I listened to the old heads. Yo, that's one thing I did was like, yo, and not to even be funny, like, I look at how crazy the young dudes is today. And I think the difference from when I was growing up to them was the old heads would have slapped us around for being disrespectful. Then go tell your mom. Like, the OGs on the block would have punched us in the mouth for being disrespectful with them. Then go tell our moms. And I think about, like, when we grew up, we would have laughed at the young ones being and that's why they so wild, because generation before, we ain't take care of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, the generation before me took care of us. Like, yeah, they was doing dirt, but it's like, I look at old heads now, and they got the young ones doing stuff they would never do. And it's like that's not real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never would have pictured somebody asking me to do something they wouldn't do themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, it's misguided. And it's like, if we don't take responsibility for who else going to do? You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, like, you telling somebody moms, they got to choose between putting food on the table or being around their kid. Right? Like, the reason I think a lot of us, we played outside to the street, like, it was like our parents had to work them extra hours. Right? For those who had parents, some who didn't have parents. But those of us who did, what's a 9 to 5? Wasn't nobody get home at 5 o'clock? It was 9 to 9, 9 to 10, graveyard shit, right? So you have no choice but to kind of look at the people getting it in the street or the athletes. Like, yo, this is what I want to do. I'm either going to play ball or I'm going to be like the dude in the game, because these are the ones I see making it. And it had nothing to do. I tell people all the time, I had nothing to do with if your parent cared or not. They just had to make a decision, right? Wasn't nobody paying them $15, $20 an hour so that they could just work 8 hours a day? Like, nah, they had to go to one job, get off, and go to another job, So sometimes your kids get caught up in the street. But I tell you this, the lessons you learn in the street is going to prepare you for what you're going to learn when you get to Wall Street, if that's what you want to do. Because they just as big as sharks as you would think. You
got to understand, when we was younger, though, it was on that it takes a village mentality. Like, you was outside in front of your building, but if your neighbor seen some shit going down, they was going to help. If you being disrespectful, she going to fucking like
tell. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody played a part. And once that faded away, it was every man for themselves.
But I also tell dudes too, I remember being able to get out of school and we had the center that we could go to after school. Or we had PAL who put the basketballs and all the games out for us to do. There's none of that. So now when the kids ain't got nothing to do, that's what I'm like, yo, when you go to these suburbs, or like let's say the affluent suburbs, because like Chicago's the first time where I saw like suburbs looked as grimy as the block, like or whatever. So it could get like that too. But if you go to the suburb, they got the YMCA, they got pools, they got after school programs, they got the track, they got the clean parks that like both basketball courts is up, they got basketballs to play. Like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. When you ain't got none of that, when there's nothing for your kid to do, what they gonna do?
Facts.
You know, they're gonna mimic the older guys. Like females, they're gonna get attached to the snipers and all that, the older dudes who want to have a young girl because they feel like they can manipulate them or whatever. It ain't got nothing to do with her father not being around. Her father out trying to get it to take care.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying? And I think people act like they don't know this, but they do know. They just don't care. They look for any excuse because that's what's going to keep us where we at. But then you'll get folks who gonna break the barriers and we gonna get in there and like, you know, but the thing too is you'll get somebody like me or like you who make it and then they forget about where they came from.
Facts. Facts.
Facts. There's some cats that you can't change them. They're gonna be who they are.
Yeah.
Like there's, I mean, you can only offer so much opportunity to them. I mean, I hate and shit, yo, because they're just gonna bring you down and shit, yo.
Nah, it's real. It's real. It's like sometimes
I'm 100% about looking out for everybody and shit that wants to be helped and shit. You know what I mean? If you don't want to be helped, I can't waste my time on you because I could be helping this dude instead. You know what I mean?
Bro, if you black, you Hispanic, because I look at all of us as one. Like, I'm even like, if I can't love you close, I'm gonna love you from a distance. But the thing is, people got to learn to show love from a distance because when you keep that person close, energy travels. So if you keep lazy people around, you get lazy yourself, right? But then you got people who got to understand, like, bro, you get what you put in. A lot of people think they owe shit that they not owed. Like, oh, I was there at this time. You've been paid back for that 10 times over.
You know?
And then people who don't want to see people win. Yo, bro.
Yep.
You know how many people from my block I never even had conversations with, but I wrote like rec letters for their kids. You know, I sent an email to somebody for their kid, or I'll put their kid on a project, or I'll put them on a project just because I know it's going to help them like get somewhere. And I'm like, yo, all I just need you to do, bro, is if I put my name on it, just do what you say you're going to do, right? Because even if you mess up, that's not really going to mess me up. But that just means I can't do it for you again. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't want to do certain things. Like I tell people, the thing I love most about my journey is that I waited until I figured out what I really want to do before I did it. Because if you, like my mom, if it was to my mom, like love my mom to death, but she laughed at this all the time. I'd have been a lawyer, or I'd have been a medical doctor because it was a lot of money. Like, yo, like I got an aunt. My aunts, they make decent money. Like, they make good money. They make good money. But they hate their fucking job. I can't go to work every day if I hate it.
Facts. Facts.
So how many times you be on the train? Like, because you used to work downtown, right? When you was working, I remember you was working at the Starbucks. I bet you seen plenty of people who got a suit, Armani, all that, but they mad all day on the train. And I used to look at them like, dang, yo, you look like you're getting it. Like people like Tim Allen and like all these like famous act who killed themselves, who committed suicide. Something is there. Money, just as much as being broke come with its problems, money come with it too, bro. People think I got a lot of shit I ain't got, bro, just because I'm where I'm at. Like, you should see the shit people ask for, yo. It's like, son, I got it, yo. It'd be crazy, yo. I got asked some like, I'm like, yo, what is it you think I do, yo? Like, maybe I'll be there one day. Like, you know, maybe one day I'll be there, but I ain't there. You forget I got a kid? I got a fiance? Like, you know what that come with? Like, I got nieces. I got 4 brothers, and we all got kids. Plus a bunch of nieces. My dad had 13 brothers and sisters. That's a lot of cousins. My mom got 3 sisters, and they got kids. That's a lot of cousins. Like, so it's like, I get asked things my family don't even ask me. You know? And it's like, nah, bro. Like, if I could look out, I got you. Most of the time, it's like, yo, your kid having trouble in school, I could connect them with something. Like, you know what I'm saying? They got like an essay, let me read it over. I could do those things. You need me to send an email to somebody, you need me to write a rec, something like I could do those things. When it comes to like financials, it's like, bro, I gotta make sure I'm good. Like, like,
fact.
You know, some people think, you know, you've been through a lot more with them than you have. Like, right? And they get crazy. And that's when you see who your real friends is, right? Like, put like this one thing, and like, you know, I'm definitely sending this to my boys. And like, you know, I have a relationship with them to where I know like they won't feel no type of way about it, but it just comes with it. Like look at how many years we played ball together. Never really seen a lot of guys at my games. I would say like a few of my boys made it to maybe 2 college games, and that's because like, you know, I had like we didn't have dorms, so we was like in like this house. So I would bring them up there, whatever. They came to cover my game, but I never felt no kind of way. One, I ain't want a lot of them there because they ain't grow up yet. And not that they was thinking like kids, but they was still in the street. And I'm like, you know, we get into arguments in the game. I'm like, nah, my man gonna see this and think it's something that is not, and I don't need that. Like, right? Like, I'm like, take this shit up. Like, nah, I don't need. So, you know, like I know where, like, I know what's their crowd and what's not their crowd. Because some things I might let slide, they not there yet to let that slide. There's certain things I don't want to let slide, but I'm in a situation like, damn, I can't let you fuck my bread up. And not like just money. I look at myself and like, even y'all, like what y'all do, like y'all got a brand. So every action that you make from now on is about this brand that y'all promoting, right? So like I can't just jump out the window and let you mess that up, even though
jumping out that brand,
hot right now. Like I listened to one of your Light on the Hills, where I can't remember what the dude said to you, but he was in your store acting crazy, and you had to boom dap him a little bit. Yo, people don't understand how real that is. Like, yo, certain words, like growing up, it's like, bro, like I don't care how big, how small, how young, like, yo, go get your pops, like, or whatever, like,
pops, for real.
Things you can't say, bro, and it's still that way. Like, I hear certain things, like, I hear dudes tell my people, I'm like, yo, y'all play like that?
Word, like, facts. That suck my dick shit. That suck my dick shit, man.
That's literally, that's culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, people look at me like I'm crazy when I was like, yo, you can't call nobody I was in the class, right, with my mentor, Chicago. He'd been through that life, you know, in some capacity or not. And I was telling him how we used to go downtown to play ball at the Hoop It Up tournaments. I used to be all the way downtown where they block the streets off and put the courts in the streets. And I remember we go to the white neighborhood, and I was like, yeah, we would be nervous about getting the cops called on us or whatever. And he was like, you know, I would think that people would be scared of, like, you know, people from like up the way would be scared of like white people. So I was like, nah, because like where you grew up, like where we grew up, whether you agree with it or not, like you was taught not to fear anything. Like you feared your parents.
That's it.
You fear a person because like you get preyed on. Like when they say people preyed on the weak, like yo, like you he bleed like I bleed? Like how? Like right?
Facts.
How
Facts.
can I, you know? Because taking the L wasn't a bad thing as long as you fought.
As long as you
Now
fought.
you can't take an L because your man want to clown you. Your man don't care
Yep.
that you fought and stood on your square. Now
Mm-hmm.
the man want to clown you. So if you take an L, you want to go and shoot somebody. Like it's the
Mm-hmm.
most sucker-fied. Like, bro,
Man,
it's crazy. Like it's crazy. I look at it like, yo, how we got here? Like I missed this.
Mm.
almost like a prison mentality and shit, yeah.
But that's what
I
it
mean,
is.
from the jump, yo, like you taught this shit right out the gate. As soon as you
Mhm,
able to go
right out
outside,
the gate.
like I don't remember, I think we was outside at 5, yo. In my head, we was outside at 5
Probably.
in front of the
Yo, we
building.
was. Yo,
Probably.
we was.
But
Right.
but what it is too is everybody was in jail. That's what it was. When everybody did the stretch, the rules changed, right? Think about like gangs, right? I tell people all the time, yo, because like we all come from it. If you wasn't in like a big gang, like you wasn't a Blood or Crip or Latin King, every block had a gang. Every block had their own. Everybody's gang affiliated in some
They had a
aspect growing up in New York, right?
Yeah, like a posse.
So yeah, everybody had their own clique, gang, whether you was in a big gang or not. And I tell people, they didn't give all the founders all them years because they wanted to give them all them years. They knew what was going to happen.
Mhm.
What it was is, and the most dangerous thing in America to white America is Black and Latino people organizing to the point
Mm.
where somebody has control enough and they all fighting for the same cause that all got to do with each other.
Facts.
There's no reason, because now what happens now is you look at the Crips in Cali, you look at like, all right, I'm in Chicago, you look at the GDs and the Stones and the Vice, they locked everybody up. Now everybody got their own little subdivision clique, and it's not, oh, he a Crip, so I'm gonna show him love because he a Crip. Nah, he a different set. So like, fuck him, he not in my set. And that's why all the gang shit is so, yo, it's so misconstrued, and it's all like fake big homies, and not even like fake because like they be putting these young dudes in situations they shouldn't be in. Like, why you not ordering your little homie to go get a degree?
Mm.
So y'all could do something legal.
When
where
the
you
gangs
not working your life.
originated, it was about that.
You had
It
to
was
go to
about
school.
neighborhood up, protecting your people, making sure there was no crime.
You paying the
going on and
old
shit.
lady's rent. Put it like this, right? One of the things I do, and I can't give like too, it's like confidentiality wise, but I could give y'all the gist of it, right? I do work with the violence prevention folks in Chicago. So what they are is they literally guys from the block who got a name, who's out in the streets, who still got respect in the street, trying to get the young dudes out of it, right? And they'll stand on the block because they got enough respect for them not to wild out while they there. They wait till they leave, but they still wilding or whatever, right? And one of the dudes, he told me two things, yo, that stuck with me, and I was like, damn, this is so real. He was like, when I knew the gang wasn't loyal was when I went to court and the witnesses showed up. And a lot of people ain't catch that. I'm like, yo, that's real, right? One, boom.
Mm.
Actually, he told me three things. Two, he was like, I can't respect no big homie OG or whatever who gonna put a gun in a little homie hand and they won't shoot one themselves. Right?
Facts.
That's gonna fly over a lot of other people's head too. Boom.
Facts.
Then, because I could tell from his age, he was saying to them, when we used to get chased by the police, the old ladies on the block used to let us hide in the court.
Mm.
Right? But that was because they was right? And not to say like, we don't gotta agree with everything everybody was doing.
Right.
But it was a thing to where they wasn't destroying their community. They was taking care of it.
Taking care of it.
But it's like, yo, the thought process now, and like, yo, 90% of my friends is gang related or whatever. But I could tell you, they loyalty is to each other. It's not to no gang.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when I look at people and they're like, oh, you're supposed to do this for you. Why? Because the gang not loyal to them. Like, like that's just kind of like law now, right? But it's like, just imagine if Tookie and look at Tookie Williams, right? Yo, prime example of like, let me get him out of here before he could do what he, because he changed his life around when he was started writing kids books. He telling kids to stay away from the game. They pushed his death sentence up. because he was getting too big on the inside space. Like, I see that.
Control the passes.
Yeah. Yeah. So they like, yo, we got to get him out of here because he still has as much power inside as he did on the outside. The same with people probably like Pistol Pete and all them dudes probably can't get visitors and they got to read their letters or whatever because these are still figureheads to a lot of people. These are like our Aristotles and all the like philosophers who white people look to and all that because they just had that presence, right? And yeah, they might have did whatever they was doing, but one thing they did was they had people together. And that's the only thing I think Black and Latino people was missing is, yeah, we together. You might have your 40, 50 people who y'all together, but just imagine if we was all together, like the type of power we would have. I tell people, I loved growing up in the projects. Y'all got to misconstrue that the project was somewhere that wasn't good to live. Yo, we had fun. I remember Skelvies and like the icy spot and all that. Playing, I remember the blackout setting the garbage can on fire to break night and all that. Yeah, it came with the drama, with the all that what happened. But like, yo,
the outside though, they don't understand that. They look at it like, what? You lit the garbage can on fire?
Yeah,
right.
That shit was heat and light, yo.
Yeah,
they don't.
Like you and your man, you might not have it today. So your man, his mom came up with some bread. He hitting all his mans off like, yo, we all about to go get an icy. We all about to go get an icy because I got it today. Or you got the and it's always the grandmas. It's always the Spanish grandma. Hook up all the food, bring it outside. We've been playing ball and running around all day like, yo, everybody come eat, right? And that community, that's what we grew up on. But it's like, yo, dudes got lost somewhere where it's like, yo, we don't remember this stuff that we grew up on, like, the foods we grew up on. So it's like my whole generation. Yeah. You think about it, the people you grow with, and then how like your kids, like your kids will be playing with your former best friend kids and all that. It's like, yeah, I pop used to, like, yo, like your pops and my pops probably like was bagging chicks together and all that, like back in the day and all. I would love it, like, right, like you would love hearing like the old stories from like the old heads, the old hood, like legend stories and things like that you could laugh about. Like I remember, like I was young, but we used to run over to the skate key where the old heads used to be and all that, and catch a glimpse of whatever. It's like, yo, at 1 o'clock, me and you gonna fight. Y'all fight it out. Then y'all smoking a blunt together, right? Like y'all smoking a blunt together, laughing about it. And it's like, yo, I miss those times. But what I think it is too is like social media changed this shit. The stuff you see on TV changed it.
That's amazing, man. Once started wearing skinny jeans and stuff like that, yo, they lost their mind. Started wearing dresses and shit and like.
Yeah, niggas fucking the game up, man.
It doesn't matter if it's not on them being gay or anything like that, because I don't give a fuck. To each his own, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're pushing a certain, like, I feel like they demasculinizing the rappers now and
but what it is that
there's no more images of the powerful man, and you know what I mean.
I think what it is people gimmicks sell, right? So people are doing whatever it takes to go viral. So you got a Young Thug who I don't think Young Thug agrees with wearing dresses, but I think him wearing the dress. I think him wearing the. But look though, if you look at go look at all the Young Thug's interviews, right? The ones with him wearing dresses and things like that is what got 1 million views, and not if he talking about something like. I think it's whatever you could do to go viral, and people will literally go against their morals to go, which I can't get with. If you believe that you're attracted to men and that's your thing, be you. But if you're doing it to capitalize off to get clicked, like I don't even want to say this dude's name because he put the rainbow head dude. We all know who the rainbow head dude. I ain't gonna give him no cut. Everything he do is clickbait. Everything he do is clickbait. You get what I'm saying? And that's.
But look at where it got him. This motherfucker got $500,000 charm, this, that, and the other, breaking the internet and shit. People are watching this bullshit. People are loving this shit. Because
you got because what people can't do is control themselves. Because you got the people who don't care, but then you got the people who's pissed off with them, so they clicking it so that they could type in, you a sucker, why are you talking about? Because every time you talk about them, that gives them light. That's another, because you gotta understand, it's just like, like when you talk about something and then you go on your phone and then the same thing you talked about came across your social media, or that's how it works. So that's why I'm like, I ain't saying his name, because that's probably gonna give him a little bump up, man. It's crazy like that.
Since we brought it up and shit, what do you think? Oh man, we gotta bring him back in. What do you think about his reasoning behind it?
I don't agree. Behind him. I'm gonna tell, and I'm where I'm at, and I don't agree. My thing is, if you decide to live that life and portray that, you got to follow those rules. He wasn't a civilian. I agree with the term that there's no such thing as telling when it comes to civilian, to an everyday civilian, because you don't live that way. But are you talking about? They was coming at your girl or whatever. That's not an excuse, especially with the one dude who actually shot at somebody for him.
Yeah,
like your actual hitter or whatever. Like how does that happen? Like I don't think telling on someone is revenge. Like that makes no sense to me. Like, because they try to, because what's the name? I can't remember who, but another dude said that. He told on dudes because while he was inside, they were sleeping with his girl. Like, what?
First off, that's on your girl and shit, for doing what the fuck she doing behind your back.
Yeah.
But I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, we grew up on the code and shit, We already know that. But some of the shit he was saying, like, I kind of agree with. Like, I'm going to motherfucker that's these people are supposed to be my so-called new family. I'm supposed to be in this 100%, but you behind my back fucking my girl. You behind my back scheming on me. The shit you trying to kidnap me and this, but I'm supposed to go to jail for 45 years for you.
Yeah, but see the thing is, what are you doing to me in there? But where the thing gets funky is because, and I'm trying to remember who broke it down. Because I could see why he would be mad. But the thing is, the stuff that he got caught up for was things that happened before they was doing, like, because the thing about the feds is, everybody know about the feds is, the feds gonna sit on you for a while. They not coming to you right away. Yeah, they gonna sit on you. Like, they gonna let you get to the height of as big as you could get, and then they gonna come snatch it off.
By the way,
I remember what you did in 2000. They're gonna wait until to make sure that they catch you before statute of limitations drop out. And it's like, because they smart, like that's why they conviction rate is so high. The only people I know in this, because it's a famous case, was Irv Gotti and them. They beat their fake, but they broke now. I mean, they not broke. They well off compared to a lot of us, but they're not where they was. Yeah, they not where they was because they had to spend so much money to beat a damn Fed case.
They were treating that shit like a drug game and shit, yeah.
Yeah, so
they trying to put away for that rainy day and shit, yeah. They thought, I'm on top, I'm untouchable and shit, yeah. Everybody gets got, yeah. So but they want you to get you one way or another,
yeah. The thing with him is there was a lot of people who got wrapped up in that case with the rainbow head dude that like even to that day they was loyal to him. So that's where it get, like, I look at like what you call it just came